Hey family, I'm gonna come at y'all real quick. Why? Because I feel like this is very urgent at this moment. Stop telling your children's business to people who do not give a fuck about them. Keep in mind that everything I speak on is either personal or very close to me. But this is personal, and it was a revelation for myself, not from recent things that I've done, but previously. And I'm gonna speak solely on my son. you know since a boy, he's always been hyper. And there are other things that we've dealt with as he began to grow. And primarily being a single mom, I'm gonna be honest, it was so much easier to get discouraged and reach out to so many people to seek advice on the best things for him, including if he had a father figure in his life, right? So when I began to speak out, even to family members, mom, dad, sister, brother, regardless, sometimes it feels good to get that off of our chest in that moment. But what you do is you create more people to know what's going on. And I'm going to say with your children, where they continue to add on the energy of negativity against them. I'm just going to be so transparent in this moment, but don't confuse my transparency with weakness. Being a single mom is hard as fuck. Yeah, you may have the dads, give this or give that every now and then, but with my son, but that's none of your business right there, right? But when you really raise your children, seek to raise your children, not only do you have the things of yourself on your back, but you have to understand that these are human beings and individuals who are coming up in life that are not only creating their own opposition as they learn, but also learn to battle it. But we are creating it for them as well. This is why it took someone dear to me. I love her, and y'all just don't know. Half the time I want to say her name, but I don't say her name. Recently, we talked because I've always wanted children, and she said, I'm going to tell you. She said, the reason I only wanted 2 children, didn't want any more, because I knew how it was raising them effectively. And I also know how I want my legacy. And I also know what I want to be able to supply them with. I've always wanted a big family. But as I started growing spiritually within these past 3 years on my journey, it's kind of been changing where I'm open to blended families, right? But then I got to questioning, because recently, she always remind me, she don't tell me anything, but she remind me, I love her. Oh, I just wish I say her name. But anyways, sometimes we don't consider the things that we bring to our children. We don't consider that. Or even in that moment of time, we don't stand up for them like you should. And one thing I can say I do. But I'm going to tell you something. When it comes down to my son, ever since he was born, for the most part, I've worked. And this is where, when it comes down to parenting, it comes with conflict, where we think that we're supporting them and supplying them, but we're not giving them that fundamental basic life where we're teaching them what they need to know. This past, almost 2 months that I've been to Mississippi, been back in Mississippi, and this past year when I was in Indiana, for some reason, I dealt with so much racism. But in this time now, I've dealt with so much from the principal at the school that he's in now, where there's control. And I remember going in for a meeting with him and speaking. Everybody listened, all the women there, and everybody was white. But the principal wanted to cut me off all the time and ask me little stupid ass questions as if I didn't know what I was talking about. And I had to let him know I'm very well educated on the topics that I speak, and behaviors, not only with other children, but with my own, is something that, I research heavily, He ended up walking out, but we had so many other encounters after that where it came to the conclusion like, no, I gotta pull back. Sometimes as parents, we want to do what we feel like is best, but sometimes we got to put that extra weight on us when we wasn't able to present our children to such fair opportunities in certain ways. Now, I'm not going to go into too many details right now at this moment, but I do have things coming up for this. But when we speak out sometimes on our children out of disparity, that energy still sticks to them. And when that energy still sticks to them without them knowing and without you knowing, just because we're ignorant to the fact does not mean that certain energies does not come against your baby. Which causes it to be a little more of a struggle. Crazy thing is, some of this stuff that I've been knowing because I've been trying to plot, but I've been wanting things to go smoother, and it's like, no, everything ain't go smooth for you. I remember sharing a picture on Facebook with me, talking about being a lion, and how sometimes I'm passionate about what I am, but it sometimes causes you a lot of pain. And this same woman, she gave me a scripture, and she said sometimes you have to be a lion in order to be the lamb that you are. And that goes with our children as well. If we don't teach our children the foundations and fundamentals of themselves, how are they going to go into the world and have it to happen for them? It's like sometimes, and I used to be like, oh, he getting older. What is it? And I see certain things about him. So not only is the issue that started off, as he get older, they become more complex. They become way more complex. And now what could have been solved at the beginning in a more simpler way now has tripled. I don't care what anybody's opinion is. Yes, as moms, solid moms, we can do it. We can support them. But I know I would not have another child in a single parent household. I would not. Not because I can't support them, but because parenting is a necessity. It's a necessity, and not only is it a necessity just for, their upbringing and their growth, but you are the first teacher. And for those of us who had to work primarily in the beginning of our children's childhood, we did rob them. Whether you look at it that way or not, that's how I look at it. I have 4 children. And yes, can't nobody take the fact that I'm a great mom. But what I do know is I could have been better. Now, it's not self-sabotage either. But as you grow and you learn to evolve and you allow evolvement to happen, you realize and you evaluate. I always say to reflect. But I could go on and on. How have you robbed your children? By speaking to others about them through lack of knowledge. How can you correct it? Sit down and talk to your children. Really pay attention to your children. Oh, this is 8 minutes. Give your children the attention that you desire to have. Because what happens is they become adults wanting the attention that they wish they had as a child. I'm going to get off of here though, because I'm working. My hour is almost up. So I come and I do an hour. All is well, family. My boss fam. As it will be, I am the living boss now. I love y'all. Deep within. I shame. Oh, I turned it around. Look at me.